Are they objectively wrong? Is it objective?
No. Because I don't believe in objective morality. So that can apply to any statement.
So it's not objectively wrong to leave a full-born baby by the fire and just say, you're on your own, have a nice life.
Well, yeah, I'm calling into question objective morality. So I obviously have to...
No, I know. I'm just trying to make you hear back how insane what you are saying.
And I'm calling into question why no one has given this kid a psych evaluation. That's what I'm wondering. Now, I've heard a lot of interesting takes on morality, especially from atheists, but none of them have ever made sense because they basically gish-gallop through any question they get and make it seem to the uninformed like they know what they're talking about. They pretend like they have some sort of personal moral standard, but maintain the illusion that it does not and absolutely cannot come from God. And they have to maintain that lie. Because atheists have tried throughout the ages to explain morality without God, and here we are all these years later, still waiting for an answer that makes any sense. And we're still waiting. This kid though, honestly, I'm glad that he's at least respectful, because his outlook on morality and human life in general is no less than appalling. Check it out.
Can you explain to me why you think we need to have some kind of absolute standard for, like, morality?
Excellent question. It's really good. If you say you have a good day, are you describing the experience you had, or was it morally a good day?
So if I don't have religion, right, let's say I am an atheist or something, and I were to go up to, I find like two books. One's the Quran, and then one is the Bible. And I read both of them, and then I have a feeling of preference towards one or the other. That makes me feel like morality probably isn't objective, because I read two moral codes, I didn't have one before, and then I derived one after reading it.
But one is true.
Yeah, one can be true. But even if one is true, it doesn't really feel like I'm influenced in terms of what I feel is good or bad. Because obviously, there are people who are Muslim who have read, the Bible and still are more persuaded by Islam.
No, of course. I mean, you could be persuaded by anything, right? That doesn't... I believe that there is a transcendent way of living. I call that the Bible, right? And I believe it's the perfect catalog from creation to the end of the world. You don't have to agree with that. I'm talking strictly from a moral sense. So let's just ask a separate question, which is... Do you think people are naturally, outside of religious teaching, good or not so good? The nature of humanity.
The nature. I wouldn't be comfortable making a statement about it.
Fair enough, and I appreciate that. So we believe, as Christians or those in the space, human beings are pretty awful. Okay? That we're broken, that we're sinful, that we fall short of the glory of God, and that we need to teach people how to be good.
Now, this was a great point by Sir Kirk, and some time ago, my pastor made this very same point during a church service. And what's crazy is, I'd never even noticed this until the pastor mentioned it. Kirk stated that we have to teach people to be good. And the other side, progressivism, they would argue that, no, people are inherently good. Well, if that's the case, then why do we always have to teach our kids to do the right thing? From the moment they're born, we have to instruct them on how to get along with people. As parents, you're constantly teaching them that they can't throw tantrums, that they have to share, that they shouldn't hit or bite other kids, not to spit out their food, not to yell at people, not to say curse words, right? So if human beings are born inherently good, as progressives love to claim, then why do you spend decades teaching little human beings to behave as they should? You don't have to teach them to misbehave. They come out of the womb doing that just fine, no problem at all. Let's look at another example. Have you ever noticed how teaching babies to talk can be very difficult? Getting them to speak and articulate correctly, it can be a challenge for any parent, right? But have you ever noticed that a baby will repeat a curse word in a second and doesn't ever have to be taught to say it? It's funny how those words come so naturally to them, but to get them to say thank you or excuse me takes God knows how much effort for a lot of kids. Funny how that works for creatures that are supposedly born inherently good. I'm just saying.
A common left-wing belief is that human beings are actually awesome and they're terrific, and the reason why things are not so good is because of capitalism or the patriarchy or feminism or whatever. You would believe murder's wrong?
Yeah.
Why do you believe that?
Because in its definition it says it's wrong, right? It's wrong killing of somebody, or at least that's my understanding of it.
Okay, so for example, you go to an African village, happens all the time. They leave a full-born baby by the fire. They don't want it. They discard it. Happens tons of times. Any missionary will tell you that. They just discard babies. Why? They don't believe it's wrong. It's just in their code and custom. No one feels bad about it. Just discard kids you don't want. Are they wrong?
For me, yeah, they're wrong. Yeah. It's a bullet I do have to bite for my worldview.
Hold on. Are they objectively wrong? Is it objective?
No. Because I don't believe in objective morality. So that can apply to any statement.
So it's not objectively wrong to leave a full-born baby by the fire and just say, you're on your own, have a nice life.
Well, yeah, I'm calling into question objective morality. So I obviously have to bite that bullet.
I'm just trying to make you hear back how insane what you are saying.
Well, you're making a claim about the objectivity of it. You're not making a claim about whether it's wrong. Obviously, I think it's wrong.
Let's get more graphic. So you put 1,000 Jews in a gas chamber, and the Nazis thought what they were doing was good, and they pressed the button. Were they right or were they wrong in gassing millions of Jews?
Objectively, you can't, when you say, is it objectively wrong? Hold on, wait. If you say it's objectively wrong, you're implying that you can derive a truth value from it. And I don't think you can. So I don't think that you can make a true statement regarding whether something's good or bad.
Got it. So just to be clear, the Nazis could have been right in their actions, in your view.
That implies that right is an actual thing. I don't believe you can determine a truth value from a moral claim.
So the Nazis were not objectively evil.
Yeah, I've said that like 4 times. Like, yeah, you can't derive objective moral statements from like things. I'm not saying they're not wrong. Like, they are wrong. Oh.
Well, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
No, I just want to make sure this is important, because what you are saying, and you're saying it very clearly, is that we look at the Holocaust and it's just a matter of opinion.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem of being an atheist. You have to bite the bullet.
I respect your intellectual clarity, and I will say...
And obviously, for clarity,
no.
I obviously think the Holocaust is wrong. So if anyone's questioning about that,
it's just your opinion. I believe that it's objectively wrong, no matter who you are or where you come from, because it transcends opinion. Do you think, last question, I appreciate your clarity on this, do you see how your view could result in a lot of dead people?
So my main idea, I guess, with the worldview is I'm not making a claim again about how things should be. I'm making a claim that this is how things are. So within my worldview, this is all fine. You can have people agreeing that things are wrong. Generally, I think most people's moral intuitions will lead them to thinking that things like murder is wrong and stealing is wrong because it makes you feel bad, right?
No, well,
if I see somebody get hurt, that makes me feel bad. If you see somebody die, that makes you
totally
feel bad.
Yeah, the SS guards didn't feel bad when they killed Jews, and that's okay. But do you see where this might unravel into mass murder and societal chaos?
Yeah, that happens in the real world. I'm making a description about the way people derive their morals. I'm not saying how we should or shouldn't. I'm saying this is how you derive your morals. If you have 2 books there, the trueness or correspondence with reality has anything to do with your preference towards, one moral system or another.
Hold on. Or maybe the true one says, don't gas the Jews.
That would be,
don't
yeah,
murder,
that would be obviously...
Because God will judge you harshly.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe just hear me out. Maybe the true one says that life is good and that there is a creator who loves you.
But
maybe,
now what you're doing
maybe.
is you're just making claims about what you think, yeah, obviously it would be awesome if I had a moral code that everyone had to follow that agreed with
I know, if only
a
book existed.
Yeah, I know, if only. But my entire
if only
point
there
is
was this amazing book.
Yeah, but my point is that
no, you're being super clear. I appreciate it.
Okay, yeah.
No, and you're the first person ever, to your credit, to answer the atheist Nazi question clearly, which is that an atheist cannot objectively say that the Holocaust is wrong.
I'm arguing against objective, the idea that...
No, you're being... Usually there's some withering there. You went right into there.
Well, yeah, I can't go in here and, not bite the bullets of, what my argument implies.
We have clarity but not agreement. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
My God, that was brutal to watch, but I do it because I love you guys and I want to get the word out there, so let's man up. This child was very honest during his Q&A, and of course, I appreciate that. But did he really answer the questions being asked to him? Well, yes and no. When Kirk would ask him, is it wrong to take someone's life, he stated, you can't derive a truth claim from a moral standard. Yes, you can. If I go up to someone, strike them, take their wallet, and spend all their money, that's wrong. Now, is it true that the action that I took was wrong? Yes. Do you see how easy that was? It isn't this kid's word salad so much that really disturbed me. What concerns me is how anyone can take the examples of the Holocaust or discarding babies by a fire and say, no, I don't think those things are objectively wrong. Now, mind you, a years-long, planet-consuming war ensued because of what was being done to the Jewish people. But according to this kid, tens of millions of people gave their lives during World War II simply because people all over the world just so happened to have the same subjective opinion about what the Nazi Party was doing to the Jewish people. It was just a coincidence, according to atheist logic, that multiple nations decided to intervene and stop the atrocities that were taking place. That's what he wants you to believe, that God has nothing to do with it. Millions of people in dozens of nations just somehow decided by serendipity that what the Nazis were doing was wrong. Give me a break, man. People will do anything not to give God credit, and that's what this comes down to. Because they know that if they acknowledge the moral standard, then they have to acknowledge that it comes from somewhere. And because I'm sure this kid is smart enough to know that atheism has always failed to explain that moral standard without God, he's just gonna go ahead and pretend that the objective moral standard doesn't exist at all. But like Kirk said, no matter how wrong he is, at least he embraced it fully and without backing down. Gotta respect that. But while listening to this poor kid, I was reminded of Jeremiah 32:33. They have turned to me their back and not their face. And though I have taught them persistently, they have not listened to receive instruction. No matter what, guys, God gives you the free will to make any decision you want. And that includes ignoring him. And in a lot of cases, pretending like he doesn't exist at all. Unfortunately, that's when Proverbs 14:12 comes into play, and it says, only too late do deluded Persons who ignore the reality of God and His Word discover that they are on the crowded highway to death. And guys, if that applies to you, please don't wait until it's too late. It's why I do this. It's why so many people are here on social media trying to win every soul that we can. Not because it earns us even an inch into heaven. That's why we have Christ. No, I do it because Jesus told us so many years ago, go forth and tell the world about me. And when I'm in heaven, if even one person ever taps me on the shoulder and tells me that their journey with the Lord began because of this ministry, it'll have all been worth it. But as always, let me know what you guys think. Type amen in the comment section if you agree. And if you don't, go ahead and leave your comments also. Just keep it respectful. Don't forget to like, sub, share the video, and smash that bell for event notifications. And if you love what you see and you want to become a channel sponsor, you can hit that join button where the sponsorship trailer will explain the different sponsorship options and the perks that you'll get as a result of joining each plan. Also, don't forget to check out our merch store, as I've recently added a lot of new merchandise to the store, and I would love nothing more than to see some of you guys wearing the Cross Unit logo out there. As always, guys, be safe, be good, be blessed. I'll see you when I see you. Remember that Jesus is King and the only way to heaven. Later, guys.